Good evening. My name is Pat McCardle, and I'm a member of the board of directors of the Oceanside Outrigger Canoe Club and our 200 members. And I'd like to convey our club's full support for merging the harbor unit with the City of Oceanside Lifeguard Service. Our membership includes veterans, active duty military, teachers, medical personnel, business owners, retirees, and members of the Chamber of Commerce. And we're very concerned about our safety and the safety of everybody else who uses the harbor. Our membership's been active in the harbor since 1997 when our club was founded. I started boating in the harbor back in the 60s, right after it was open. I've been a boat owner and a liveaboard, and my late father, Joe McCardle, was Yacht Club Commodore a long time ago. My brother's been living in the harbor for 25 years. We'd like to share with you some examples from our members of the importance of staffing our harbor with personnel who are experienced in water safety, boating, and emergency medical procedures. I'm going to let our three speakers introduce themselves and tell you their stories. And we'll start with Steve Esso.
Thank you, Pat. My name is Steve Esso. I'm an Oceanside resident. I'm a psychology professor at Miracosta College. A few years ago, I was on the canoe that essentially was swamped as we were coming back into the harbor. It was a canoe filled with some of the most experienced people in our canoeing club, and it was just a fluke kind of combination of two waves that we were paddling along, and then all of a sudden the canoe was underwater because we got a wave, kind of a rogue wave from two different sides, and it just swamped us. The conditions, because of the swamping and the two waves, became really treacherous, and it really wasn't that way prior. And so we were in a difficult situation almost immediately. And having the experienced Harbor Patrol boat driver, he was able to be there almost immediately. And he managed to position the boat and pick us up individually and move the boat and pick up the next person and then move the boat and pick up the next person. I think I was one of the last people that got picked up, and frankly, I was amazed at what he was able to do to keep the boat against the waves, keep it positioned just perfectly in order to be able to let us get to him and get onto the boat and be saved. The canoe remained submerged for I don't know how long, but it was really a very treacherous time. And I don't know what we would have done, frankly, if there had been no Harbor Patrol, or if they had been 15 or 20 minutes away, or if they hadn't been an experienced boat operator to be able to work against the swell and the current the way it was going. So I'm in full support of being able to have qualified boat operators and Harbor Patrol on duty as much as possible. It really, in this case, the case that I was in, it frankly saved lives because there was no other way out of that situation. Okay, and then I'll switch to Kathy Dube.
Hi, Steve. Thanks so much. Kathy Dube, 25-year resident homeowner here in Oceanside, business owner as well in Oceanside. I've been with the Oceanside Outrigger Canoe Club about 10 years. I was in the same six-man canoe with Steve, and I don't have a lot to add to that, but basically very experienced swimmers really stuck right in the swell of those rogue waves coming in. We couldn't swim in and we couldn't swim out. So all six of us were there, and it was a quick rescue. Thank goodness we didn't panic. We did have that experience. We all talked with each other, keep each other calm as could be. And then the next thing we knew, Dave Kniff and his boat came out, picked us up one at a time, and the waves were so large to have him be able to maneuver over those large waves without losing control was miraculous. Yeah, it could have turned out badly. It was a scary situation, but with that experience that came and rescued us, calmed us, made us feel more at peace, and got us back into the mouth, out of the mouth and into the harbor safely. It could have gone a lot a lot worse than it did. So we're very, very grateful for experienced crew that come and save us in our need. Thank you. Oh, Maureen?
Hi, my name's Maureen Bowen, and I also am a resident and homeowner of Oceanside for the last 15 years. I also work as a physical therapy assistant at the VA La Jolla Health Systems. And I have an experience with both the canoe that Kathy and Steve were on, and then I also went out a couple months later, and I was on a canoe where there were six of us, six different canoes that went out into the harbor that day. And on another canoe, one of the guys that was in the front of the boat slumped forward, and we thought he was just trying to cool off, but he was actually having a heart attack. And so we were on the other canoe, and we telephoned 911, and Dave Knuff and the Harbor Patrol were there very quickly. They got the canoe over to the side. The Harbor Patrol and Dave and his crew got Steve onto the boat, did CPR. It was really a miracle that they were there and they were close, because Steve would not have survived had the Harbor Patrol not been there and not been close and not been so proactive so quickly. Luckily, Steve, they got him to Tri-City Hospital. He was there for about a week in a coma. He came out of it, and he is the miracle man by far. The nurses, the doctors, everyone that knew him couldn't believe how he made it through that day. And it truly was having the Harbor Patrol there so quickly and so proactive. So we need those guys desperately to be there for us when we're in need, and in their experience. So thank you, and back to Pat.
All right, thanks very much for listening to our stories. We do hope you will support this move, which we understand will also save a great deal of money, but it will provide the harbor, which is much bigger than it was when I started sailing there, with the kind of support that we need to be safe and to keep our visitors safe. Thank you very much.